My name's Jen and welcome to my channel. Today's topic is going to be about my 8-year-old son having ADHD and ODD. If you would like to hear more about this kind of stuff, please subscribe, like, and give me a comment, please. If you have any questions or anything, please don't hesitate. Let me know. I'm willing to help anybody out there that is struggling, has children, with ADHD and ODD. Okay, some of you might not know what ADHD and ODD stands for. Well, I have notes, so I'm going to be looking down at my notes as I'm talking to you because I have a lot to talk about. So that way I'm not leaving anything out or forgetting anything. ADHD, which stands for Attention Deficient Hyperactivity Disorder. And ADHD that my son has and stuff, what he goes through was a lot of hyperactivityness. ODD stands for Oppositional Defiant Disorder. And the word defiant and stuff means behavior. That leads to a lot of behavior for ODD kids. But my son has severe ADHD, and that's, when I first started noticing these signs, he was at the age of 2 years old, acting differently than my other children have ever acted at that age, acting a lot of hyperness. I just thought it was like the terrible twos, me being mother's instincts, trying to figure things out. I was looking up ADHD in kids. And if you look it up, you can see that sometimes it does happen around 2, but people think, it's the normal terrible twos. So we waited, and by the time he got in preschool, the age 3, it took a few months. He got used to it, and then once he got used to everything, he started acting out, being defiant with the teacher, couldn't sit still in the classroom, talking out loud, making loud noises, disrupting the classroom. So when he got to kindergarten, he was 4, and it got worse. I mean, totally bad. Like, he would be, if he was at home, he would be like throwing things out the window. Like, if we were still sleeping, we couldn't hear him. He would be sneaky and get up and get in my fridge, throw eggs out the windows, mess the whole kitchen up. And it was just terrible. It was terrible. So when he was almost 5 years old, I took him to my pediatrician. And of course, some people might not agree with this, but medications is all up to the parents and how you feel about it. Okay? So I took him to his pediatrician, and my son is also on an IEP for his behavioral and stuff. I'll explain a little bit more about the IEP at the end. But anyways, took him to his pediatrician. She asked for his IEP. I had to print all that out from the schools and get teacher statements as well. The teachers he's had from preschool to kindergarten. So that way she could get him diagnosed. Well, anyways, he was diagnosed with severe ADHD and ODD. So, my personal opinion, and that's mine, I decided to medicate him because it was just bad around here. I mean, I was pulling my hair out and just struggling. I struggle with anxiety myself. It made my anxiety worse, and I have depression and stuff like that, and it wasn't helping with my anxiety, especially at all. My son, would make my other children, they would all fight and everything like that. And it was just craziness. They just could not get along. None of them. I mean, it's like my other kids could not get along with my son, my 8-year-old, because he was acting out, causing problems in the house, which he couldn't help. It's something in your brain that he has that is something that's not normal that other kids, have. Me having 9 kids, I have 4 that are with me at home all the time. I have 3 that are all growing up and on their own, and I have a 16-year-old and 14-year-old daughter that is shared parenting. They come down when they want, or if I ever want to put them on YouTube or anything, I ask them. And I'm not going to put a child on YouTube or social media if they do not want to be on. So I got him diagnosed, and we started out on medication. And when he started taking the medication, to me, it worked so well. I mean, perfect. He was not getting in trouble in school. He was not a zombie. That was the first question I had for my pediatrician. I did not want my son to be a zombie, because certain medications I've heard of, make kids space out, not with it, and zombie. This was not at all like that. Not this medication. So, got him medicated. We waited 2 weeks. My doctor wanted to wait 2 weeks, and I had to do a checkup with her. And to make sure that the medication was working, we had to go in, get his weight checked and stuff, because when you start a medication, it's a very strong medicated, substance. It's a controlled substance. So, when he starts the medication, it can make him not eat and lose weight. So we had to check on that to make sure that was not going on. And he did start to lose a little bit weight. But once he started getting used to the medication, he was fine. He started eating like normal, gaining weight and everything. And, he was actually listening at home and everything. So as time went on for my 8-year-old, going into grades and stuff like that, he, in first grade and stuff, he struggled a little bit. The teachers and stuff, we already had a strategy through his IEP, which IEP, I'm looking at my notes, which stands for Individual Educational Plan. If you ever, think your kid has that, make sure that see what your school has and stuff like that for an IEP. That helps, with the behavior, and it also helps getting him diagnosed and stuff, like with the schools and stuff. They have behaviors at school and at home. So when he was in first grade, we did have some issues here and there. And like I said, we did up his medication. We had a behavior chart for him in his book bag, and the teacher would always communicate with me, and she communicated with me well. I would sign it every night and stuff like that, but once my son had figured it out that the teacher was writing notes, he started ripping them up on the bus before he came home from school. So I had to get a hold of her through phone. Excuse me. And once I got a hold of her, she decided she's going to put it in the back of his binder folder, and he would not know where it's at. Well, he didn't know where it was at. He couldn't find it. He didn't know, what it was or anything. He just never found it. So that helped a lot. With parents and teachers communicating, that is like the best. If you have a good teacher. It worked. So when he got into second grade, had issues again. Of course, had to go back to the pediatrician, look at his medication, see how long he's been on that medication, because kids do get immune to being on the medication for so long. So he had problems, on and off again in second grade. Now that he's in third grade, he hasn't had very many problems this year. He's been actually doing good. His grades are all A's and B's. He might have 1 C. That's it. Now my son does in school, he sees an occupational therapist. And the occupational therapist helps him out, with like his writing and stuff like that. Because I guess he's got a trigger, which they call it, like he tremors with his hand and stuff like that. And I don't know if that's caused from ADHD, ODD, or what that's caused from. I have asked her before, but it's just something that he has. She really didn't say much about it. But I haven't noticed it, and now he's gotten better at his writing to where she hasn't been noticing any more of it either. So for occupational therapy, he sees his occupational therapist once a week, and she sometimes does like the weighted stuff on him, like deep pressure massage and stuff like that to calm him down. It does work. So if you're ever looking in, if your schools have anything like that, I suggest you look into it and stuff and see what they have. But yeah, I struggled a lot since he was 2 all the way up till now, and he's 8. So that's what, 6-7 years that I've had to deal with this. And it does cause, a parent's anxiety levels to go high and very overwhelming. But like I said before, every child is different and unique, and which he is. He doesn't, he sometimes will act out here once in a while, but he likes to play a lot of video games, and he gets his homework done. And whenever he gets in trouble, he knows he gets stuff taken away. Okay, so now we're going to get into the tips that I have. And I did write some tips down on paper and stuff like that. Excuse me if you hear my kids in the background. I have one playing a video game, so he's having a good old time. Okay, so all kids are different with ADHD and ODD. Depends on their severity. Depends how bad they do have it. And my son does have severe ADHD. And it just really depends. So tip 1. The first is, if you think your child is ADHD or ODD, please don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Like, reach out to your pediatrician, your doctor, or your therapist, or counselor, or whoever you might have. Just don't be afraid. I was nerve-wracking and scared and afraid because the signs that he was showing, he had every sign of ADHD. The ODD part, I did not know until my doctor said, hey, he's severe ADHD and ODD. So you got to get, some people take their kids different places. It just depends upon you as a parent to what you think, your child needs. And so, yeah, don't be afraid to ask for help. Please don't be. And it's hard, and I totally get it. I really do. I get it. There is Facebook groups you can join, but you must be added to these Facebook groups. I know I have a Facebook group I am added to. I don't recall what the name of it is. I just looked up ADHD, and it tells you all about kids has different symptoms and stuff like that. Some kids might be autistic, ADHD and ODD together. Some they call, I think, SBD. There's different terms and stuff out there for all these combinations. So, yeah, look up Facebook groups if you need to, and talk on there. You can talk with other parents and stuff like that, and see what they have to say. You can also make posts and ask questions about your child as well, too. Tip 2, decide ahead of time which behaviors are acceptable and which are not. For instance, in my case, my disciplines is when my child is not listening, having a tantrum and an outburst, and just doesn't complete listen. So he likes to play on his phone. He's got games. That's the only way he could use his phone is through my Wi-Fi. His phone's not turned on or anything like that. It doesn't have a phone number or anything like that. It's connected all to Wi-Fi. So he likes to do that. He likes to play on the Xbox, which is live with like other players and stuff, different games and stuff like that. So if my son is not listening, I do take that stuff away until, he has proved to me that, hey, sometimes you'll say I'm sorry and stuff like that, but, you you have to take something that they like away just to get them to like realize, okay, I did something wrong. And I explained to him what he's done wrong because, my son, he will ask me like 500 questions. And it just like over and over, like the same thing repeatedly and repeatedly. And I have to explain to him each time, and sometimes he might forget, what he even said, or he sometimes forgets what he's even doing because he tells me, Mom, my brain is not thinking right and stuff like that, which I know this, but there's got to be some disciplines that are set. I know disciplining is hard, but you must stick through it in order for it to succeed. So it's hard for me as a mom, to see my son doing all this and stuff and, disciplining him, taking stuff away that he loves to do and things like that. Define the rules, but allow some flexibility. Tip 3 would be managing aggression. Aggression outbursts from children with ADHD can be a common problem. Timeout should be explained to the child as a period to cool off. So you want, like I said in tip 2, what you want to explain. That's what I do every time. So just tell them, what they've done wrong and stuff like that. Just get it out there. Tip 4 would be limit distractions. And this is a hard one because if you have other children around, that's going to cause a lot of distractions and things like that. So children with ADHD easily get distracted. If you have kids that are ADHD, they're going to be distracted. When it's homework time, he needs quietness. He needs to be put in the spot to where he can work and focus on his homework. And, if he needs help, I'm there to help him with all that. Like TV, video games, and acts, and so on. By decreasing time with electronics and increasing time during engaging activities outside the home, your child will have an outlet for build-up energy. Tip 5, encourage exercise. That is important. Physical activity burns energy in healthy ways. Also helps a child focus their attention on specific movements. So going outside and stuff like that, that burns off their energy. That's going to wear them out and stuff like that. Because I'm being ADHD with hyperness, it's just going to wear them out. That being outside in the sunshine is always healthy. Winter times, you got some of them that want to play outside. It's hard to get my 8-year-old to go outside and play in the winter time because he always wants to sit and play in the games. But I always get him out there, to get outside. Tip 6, regulate sleep patterns. If you have kids, that are having trouble sleeping, I know my son does. We've even tried a nighttime medicine, but it didn't work out. It made him stay awake more, so we had to take him off of that. So he is not on any sleep medications at all. That was completely gone. Bedtime may be especially difficult for children that have ADHD. Helping your child get better sleep is important. Establish a healthy, calming bedtime ritual. Tip 7. This is very, very important. It is to me anyways. It's believe in your child. Your child likely doesn't realize the stress that their condition can cause, like on us parents. They don't realize that. It's important to remain positive and encouraging. praise your child. And please, please do this. Praise your child. For the good behavior. Not bad, but good behavior. Praise your child for. So they know when something was done right. Have confidence in your child and be positive about their future. Tip 8, counseling. This could be for you and your child. Either way. For your child, counseling with ADHD, especially with ODD, behavior helps. My pediatrician has recommended counseling for my 8-year-old to get, for his behavior issues, taken care of, talk about his issues and stuff. Because me and his dad do have shared parenting. He goes to his dad's 5 days straight, and then I have him for 5, and then his dad will have him for 2, and then I have him for 2. So when he goes to his dad's, it's a different environment over there. And he seems to, there's a point, where he seems not to like his dad in some ways, because his dad is a little more strict. Where he'd rather be home with me, but I encourage him, still to go to see his dad and stuff, and his 2 other sisters that he has over there. So if your child needs counseling, don't be afraid to ask for help. There's therapists out there. There's so many options out there in this world, for counseling for your son or for you as a parent. Like, us parents like me having anxiety and depression and stuff like that, counseling helps, with that. Because my anxiety, like I've said before, will spike up. It, will spike the roof. Because he can push me to my buttons to where, he knows what he's doing, pushing my buttons, and gets me all worked up, and it's just a hard time. So counseling would be the next recommendation. Tip 9, take a break. It is normal to be overwhelmed and frustrated, as a parent or for your child. For taking a break, just take a relaxing bath, go outside for a walk, just have some me time for you, go out with your friends, or whatever you want to do, get some time away so you're not feeling overwhelmed or frustrated. And like your child too, they also need that break, like with studying and stuff like that. When my son studies for schoolwork, he's got to have a break. He also has one in school as well. They give him breaks because he gets frustrated and also overwhelms him. And my last tip for the day, tip 10, you are never alone. Never think you are alone, because there's so many people out in this world. I have met so many people, parents, schools, Facebook groups, that, their child is struggling with ADHD and ODD. So never, ever feel alone. If you ever have any questions, you can email me, or comment or whatever you'd like to do, but you are never alone. So if you'd like to see more about ADHD and ODD, I can tell you more about how my son does progress throughout his life and his future. And, maybe sometime, hopefully, I'm hoping for to wean him off his medication and he'll just outgrow this. It's hard. I do know that. So, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, hit that bell notification, and I will see you guys soon. I hope you enjoyed this long chat video. Thanks. Bye. Thanks for watching my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell notification. See you again.